heard against the Republican Constitution. It was a monstrous calumny. The truth was that Lubin had pursued him out of sheer hatred. Lubin, who had been his butcher, whom he had wished 100 times to whip for selling meat underweight, and who was now the political chief of the district in which he used to keep a stall. While murmuring the name of his enemy in a strangled voice, he thought he saw Lubin himself, and hid his face in his hands. As a matter of fact, someone could be heard coming up the stairs. Madame de Luzzi bolted the door and pushed the old man behind a screen. Someone knocked outside and asked to be let in. Pauline recognized the voice. It was her cook. The woman cried out that municipal officers were at the gate with the National Guard and wished to make a search of the house. "They say," added the woman, "Planchonnet has fled here. I know he hasn't, and that you would not protect such a scoundrel, yet they won't believe me." "Very well, let them come in," cried Madame de Luzzi through the door. "Let them search the whole house from cellar to attic." While this talk was going on, poor Planchonnet fainted behind the screen, where I had some trouble in reviving him by throwing water on his head. "Depend on me, my friend," said Pauline to him very quietly when he came to. "Remember that women are very resourceful." And then, quite quietly, as though she were busy with some domestic daily task, she drew her bed out a little from the alcove and removed the bedclothes, and with my help arranged the 3 mattresses in such a way as to leave a space between the highest and the lowest on the side against the wall. As she was making these arrangements, a loud noise of boots and wooden shoes and musket butts and raucous voices broke out on the staircase. It was a terrible minute for the 3 of us, but the noise ascended little by little above our heads, and we understood that the National Guard, led by the revolutionary cook, had gone first to explore the attics. The ceiling cracked beneath their feet, and we could hear their threats, their kicks and bayonet thrusts against the partitions. We breathed again, but there was not a moment to lose. I helped Planchonnet to slip in the space between the mattresses, but Madame de Luzzi shook her head when it was done, for the bed thus upset looked a very suspicious object. "I must get in," she said. She looked at the clock. It was only 7 in the evening. She saw that it would not seem natural for her to be in bed so early. As for pretending she was ill, it could not be thought of. Her cook would at once see through that trick. So for some moments she remained sunk in thought. Then, quietly, simply, with an august candour, she undressed before me and got into bed, and told me to take off my boots, my coat, and my cravat. "You will have to be my lover and let them surprise us. When they come down, you will not have had time to dress properly. You must open the door in your shirt sleeves with your hair all disordered." Just as our arrangements were complete, the troops clattered down from the attic, swearing and storming. The unhappy Planchonnet was seized with such a fit of trembling that he quite shook the bed. Moreover, his breath so rattled in his throat, like that of a dying man, that they must have heard it on the landing, the sounds he made. "It is a pity," murmured Madame de Luzzi. "I was so content with my little artifice. Still, don't let us despair, and may God help us." A rough fist shook the door. "Who is there?" asked Pauline. "The representatives of the nation." "Can't you wait just a minute?" "Open the door or we will break in." "Go and unbolt it, my dear." Suddenly, by a sort of miracle, Planchonnet stopped trembling and imitating the death rattle. Lubin, the erstwhile butcher, was the first to enter, wearing his scarf and followed by a dozen pikemen. He stared alternately at Madame de Luzzi and me. "Peste!" he cried. "We've disturbed a pair of lovers. Excuse us, my dear." Then, turning towards the guards, "You see how the aristocrats spend their time. Only the Republicans have any regard for morality." But in spite of his virtuous attitude, the unexpected scene put him in good humour. Sitting on the bed, he took hold of the chin of my beautiful companion. "Still," he said, "these lovely lips were not made merely to mumble prayers all day and night. That would be a